It's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the town of Batesburg-Leesville. It's August the 12th, 2019. Welcome everyone to the beautiful Batesburg-Leesville Town Hall Complex. At this time, I would request, moving on to item 2, request that Kent Suits come up and give our invocation, please. Thank you. Let's pray. Jesus, you are King, and your kingdom is not of this world, but you've promised that you would bring your kingdom here, and we praise you for that. We thank you that we can be a part of what you're doing in this town. Yes. We thank you for these leaders here who are making decisions on behalf of the town and the people of this town. I pray that you would be with them this evening as they discuss things that would pertain to the people of this community. Pray that you would give them love for the people that they are to lead, love for one another as they lead together, patience with one another, and mercy towards one another. And give them humility. We thank you for the gifts that you've given each one of them. We pray that they would use those gifts for your glory. Yes. And we pray all these things in Christ's name. Amen. 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 Thank you, Pastor Kent. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance, item 3. Those who are willing to stand and take the flag. Mr. Gambrell, if you would lead us.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Gambrell. Moving on to item 5, adoption or approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, if I could, underneath the manager's report, item A, presentation by Rachel Dieter, League of Women Voters. She has unfortunately injured her leg, unable to attend tonight. So,
Mr. Mayor, also on item 10B, presentation by John Andrew, Executive Director of the Comment, is running late, coming in from Atlanta. I move that we move 10B to be presented upon his arrival on the agenda.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of 10A.
Second.
And moving the presentation of 10B until his arrival. And I have a motion and a motion by Mr. Simpkins and a second by Mr. Gambrell. Any discussion? District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes yes.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the agenda has been approved. Moving on to the adoption of the minutes that were provided to you in your packet for the regular council meeting on July 8th, 2019. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Mr. Simpkins, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Prowse. Any discussion? District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes yes.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5? District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes, the minutes have been adopted. Moving on to the mayor's report, item 6, the next regular council meeting will be September the 9th, 2019. It's a Monday night right here. The council committee's report, Central Midlands COG. Mr. Gambrell, anything to report?
No, sir, they did not meet this
And
month.
moving on to item 2, Mr. Prowse, anything to report for the Environmental Planning Advisory Committee?
The EPAC meeting that was scheduled for July was canceled, so no meeting this month, nothing to report.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, Joint Municipal Water and Sewer Commission did not meet in July either. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday of this week. Moving on to item C, the Batesburg-Leesville Chamber of Commerce update. Mr. Mike Taylor, if you would, please.
Mine won't be quite short as the other three, okay? The Batesburg-Leesville Chamber of Commerce and this center held the Batesburg-Leesville night at Lexington County Blowfish Stadium on August 3rd, Saturday, August 3rd. It's a great opportunity, I think, for the community. The Honorable Mayor threw out the first of several first pitches that happened that evening. And I'm trying to think of the announcer in one of the baseball films when he says it was a heater, but just a tad high on your pizza. But he had an opportunity to be interviewed on the radio and provide information about our community, about school, and also about the chamber. It was a fun night, and thank goodness we got a few more innings in than we did last year. I think we made it 1.5 last year. We made it to the 8th inning this year before a bolt of lightning came down, which brought on just regular fireworks the end of the night. So it was, I think, a fun evening for everybody. Tomorrow, the Batesburg-Leesville Chamber, Randall's Produce, and the Batesburg-Leesville Ministerial Alliance will take baskets to the 4 schools in the Batesburg-Leesville school system, the Lexington School District 3, the Lifelong Learning Center, and also the headquarters. So we appreciate our teachers and administration, everything being back in the community. The Chamber is processing, are in the process of launching a new website. This is quite time-consuming, but it's a great opportunity for us to showcase our town, the chamber, and the community in, I think, a very professional way. It's taken some time because in our system, everything is built into the website as far as all our businesses, my email blast and all that, so I have to go through and verify all the addresses and contact numbers and so forth. Our 31st annual auction will be this coming Saturday, the 17th, begin at 7 o'clock at TNS Farm. We have something, I think, for everybody in the auction, and we have some quite unique things that people have donated for that, so we're most appreciative of the community. Our August general membership will be Thursday, August 22nd at 7:30 at Shee's Barbecue. Our program will be, we'll have South Carolina Chamber of Commerce come for that meeting. And basically what they'll do is their grassroots tour, and it's an opportunity for them to gather information from all the small and large businesses throughout the state and hear what legislatively is on their mind. And that helps them create the agenda for the 2020. So I think legislative session. So this is a great opportunity for the town, for our business community, and the chamber has opened that up to those that may not be a member, that are businesses, own businesses in the community. So they'll have an opportunity to give their voice at this meeting also. Again, that's at 7:30 Shee's Barbecue. And if anyone that is not a member of the chamber would please let me know that they're attending, I appreciate it, so we can make sure we have enough food and so forth for everybody. The next thing, if you'll bear with me, I'd like to read because it's about the Dream Catchers and the drone camp, and I don't want to miss any detail, please. The Dream Catchers 2019 drone camp ended last week with a hugely successful drone camp competition held in the gym at the Batesburg-Leesville Middle School. 4 interactive stations were set up: Mario Race Course, Army Search and Rescue during natural disaster, naval water extraction of survivors from cruise ship accident, and racing air drones that were brought through complex obstacle courses beginning and ending at launch pads. As a result of the 3-week camp, as well as the competition, Dreamcatchers will sponsor an ongoing drone camp. This will be open to students of all ages, but mainly focused on middle school and high school. If our experience tells us anything, we will most likely have adult club members as well. The excitement and learning skills that these flying and land drones offer is contagious. Our team has already received an invitation from a private school in Aiken to attend and be a part of regional competitions. Dreamcatchers will have an ad in Twin City News next week, thanking all of the wonderful sponsors. They would especially like to thank St. John's United Methodist Church for the use of their facilities for the camp, the Twin City News for their great support and coverage, as well as Channel 19 News, who came for 10 minutes and ended up staying for close to an hour to film the drones and the pilots. These pilots were on Channel 19 WLTX, 6 p.m. news Saturday night, showcasing Batesburg-Leesville. We appreciate Dreamcatchers and what they do, and Mr. Mayor, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Moving on to the public comment. Ms. Pat, do we have anyone? Thank you so much. No one finished business tonight, so moving on to item 9, new business, discussion regarding the possibility of new town entrance signs.
May I move that we table this? This is something that should,
We have a motion to table.
yeah, this is
We
something
have a
that.
motion, we'll get to discussion. We have a motion to table.
Can I tell you why I want to table?
In discussion. Motion to table,
How would they know
is there
what they-
a motion to table? There's a motion to table, this item, is there a second?
I second.
Okay. District 1. Motion to table the discussion regarding possibility of new town entrance
Wait,
signs.
can we have
District
discussion?
1?
Can we have discussion?
Oh,
You got
sure,
a
yeah,
motion?
yeah, sorry, and discussion now, thank you. Thank you so much. Point of order. Discussion. Mr. King.
Okay, the reason why I think that we ought to table this is because this is something that should come before council in a work session and not at our business meeting. And I'm not even sure that the HTAX committee has met. When was the last time they met?
This was the top priority on the list.
When was the
that
last
they
time
talked
they met,
about.
though, Mr.?
I don't know.
They haven't met
But
in a while.
it's been a while, but that's not the discussion. The discussion is whether we're gonna table this, and
Right,
that is
understand.
it's one of their top items, been communicated by me in a work session to council, and it's been communicated to the town manager.
But I'm just saying, I mean, we can vote on it, but the reason why I wanted to.
Well, right now, we're in discussion on a table
Okay.
that you motion, and we have a second, and so any other discussion on the table?
Yeah, I have something to say. I want to table it because we haven't gotten all the areas of interest into Batesburg on your list. So I think it should be tabled until we get everything on there that should be on there. Because all the interests are not on your list that you have. You know, you omit what you want to omit.
And I think,
They're
any
not
more,
on
Ms. Shirley? No, it's okay. I'm not arguing with you. I'm asking if you have any more, Ms. Shirley.
I have an opinion on this. I also think we should table it as the discussion for, let's see, on the agenda it says discussion regarding the possibility of town entrance signs, then turned into a memorandum for permission to issue an RFP. So I think there's a big gap there that we all need to work on. So I would urge us to table it as well.
Okay, any other discussion? Again, we're voting on whether or not to table discussion regarding the possibility of new town entrance signs for our town. District 1?
Excuse me, District 1, what was it?
Yes. Yes.
4?
District 4 votes no.
5?
Yes.
6?
Yes.
7?
No.
And the mayor votes no. This has been tabled. Okay. Moving on to manager's report. Item A, presentation by Rachel Dieter, League of Women's, which we moved off. Item B, presentation by Jan Ando, who is not here currently. We'll pick him up as discussed when we approve the agenda. Item C, MASC Regional Advocacy upcoming meeting.
Okay, Mr. Ando did just text me, he's about 10 minutes out, so we'll go ahead and run through my portion real quick. The MASC Regional Advocacy upcoming meeting, if any council members do intend on going to the Regional Advocacy meeting on September 4th at 11 o'clock a.m., please let me know by Wednesday the 28th. There's no cost, lunch will be provided. This is a good opportunity to hear what the Municipal Association is going to make advocacy priorities for this coming year. They also want to receive feedback from council members on different advocacy legislative issues that they feel like they should be lobbying and acting on our behalf at the State House for. So if you plan on attending, let me know so I can get everyone registered around August 28th for that.
Ted, that's at the Lexington Municipal Complex.
Correct, that's at Lexington Municipal Complex. It should last from 11 to about 1 that day. All right. Moving on to project updates, Highway 1 and Highway 23 resurfacing. As you can tell, Highway 1 is still in the process of being resurfaced. Sloan Construction continues to make progress, but there's still quite a bit that needs to have the new asphalt put down at this point. There still is a large section of milled area that needs to be done. We want to urge people to really pay attention when driving down Highway 1, as there are storm drains, valves, and manholes that are coming up higher than the milled area. And we have had a few calls from people wanting to know where they can put their complaint for vehicle damage. And just to put that out there, people can go to SCDOT's website. If they have received damage to their vehicle, they have an online claim submission process on there where people can do that, and it explains in detail what needs to be done to put a claim in. We've had a couple of other storm drains filled with millings. We have talked with them about that, and they've come out to clean out some storm drains that have been filled up. One storm drain near Sheely's Barbecue was completely closed up, and they have since come out within 24 hours and fixed that issue and cut the storm drain back out so the water could drain. On another note, Highway 23, Councilman Larry Brigham did notify us that the Central Midlands Council of Government Transportation Committee did approve funding to resurface Highway 23 for year 2020. So we will be wrapping up Highway 1 this year in 2019, and next year they will begin on Highway 23, and that's from one end of town to the other end of town. So we thank the Central Midlands COG Transportation Committee for committing that funding to get Highway 23 done as well. On the C-Fund sidewalk repairs that we had gotten $30,000 from Lexington County to make the repairs, all the existing sidewalk repairs have been finalized at this point. Again, these were along sections along Wilson Street, a section in front of Lifelong Learning Center that had bowed up and was a hazard, a section along Pine Street, and another section along Columbia Avenue down near Palmetto Financial that had all but made an A shape in the sidewalk. So we were able to get all that done. We have paid the contractor and submitted our reimbursement to Lexington County to be refunded for that. Moving on, talking about our part-time litter control, as was funded in this year's budget, has seen a lot of great success in the first month that it's been underway. Over 57 bags of trash, 2 mattresses, 6 TVs, 4 vacuums, a table, gas grills, bikes, multiple children's toys, among many other things have been picked up. To put it in perspective, we're using about a 35-pound average for a garbage bag full of trash. At the amount that we've collected, they've collected over 1 ton worth of stuff in the part-time litter control in the first month. We feel that that's a huge success. They have been hitting primarily the main corridors, checking that each day to make sure nothing's going out, but then hitting the trouble roads in the different districts that we have. And some of those troubled roads with litter, they have hit numerous times already. So we're really excited about the progress that we've seen on the litter control. SCDOT TAP grant, the Phase 1 Highway 1 portion of sidewalk, that project is officially done, and we are awaiting a closeout meeting with SCDOT and Palmetto Corporation of Conway, who was the contractor. We should have that we were supposed to have the project closeout meeting 2 weeks ago. The contractor was unable to make it, so hopefully we'll have that within the next week or two and can close that project out. The bike and pedestrian study, the study is finalized. The final plan was presented to the Central Midlands Council of Government Board, in which they voted to accept that, which it was a study paid for with a grant from Central Midlands Council of Governments. Have reached out to ask the consulting team to come back and give their final presentation to council on specifically the Batesburg-Leesville portion of this study, and to give that final report presentation to you guys. So still waiting to hear back so that we can line up a time for them to come and present that. The master plan study, our consulting team has gathered the input. They finalized site inventories and site analysis on the different areas, different key project areas in town. They are working on some phase mapping at this point. They should be completing some initial conceptual diagrams of design recommendations for streetscapes, the parks, Haynes Auditorium, and Greenway connections. They are progressing well, and I am working with them now to try and find a time for them to come back and follow up to their initial stage of this, now that they're getting to the conceptual design part of it, to follow up with council and present some of these findings and where they stand with you guys. The water alternative study, Hazen and Sawyer, our consultants, are putting the finishing touches on the water study and are preparing the presentation for council. We're working to set up a date, an upcoming work session for them to present their findings. Once we can find a time suitable for everyone, they will come in and with their final numbers and give you that presentation. That's all I have, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, I have a few
Thank you.
questions.
Certainly.
Let's start with the last things you discussed. How much is that study? The water study?
Well, we've received some invoices from them.
How much did we budget for it? How much it's gonna cost?
It was arranged when we did it. We did an RFQ process, and when doing an RFQ, you cannot request the bids, but they did give a range of $80,000 to $100,000. What we paid at this point and what the final is, I don't have those numbers.
All right. Now, in your packet, you talked about the gate at the water department.
Correct.
Okay. Now, where's the power source for that?
The power source would be coming off the water plant.
Is it coming off the water plant? Or is it coming off the house next door?
It's coming off the water plant.
Are you absolutely sure? Because the
Well,
last time I looked at
I'll tell you what, I will get the 100% answer to that, and
We need to
I will get that for you. I can get that answer.
Because it's very important to know, because my understanding is that gate is being powered by the house next door to it. The property, like the electricity is coming from next door, which is a problem, because if we have an emergency and we lose power, the plant has emergency backup energy. That house does not. So you can run into a situation where the gate is not working. In an emergency
I
situation.
agree 100% with you. I have not heard that they were pulling the power from the house.
Okay, well, that's something that we need to know. I mean, that's a very important thing that I would think that you would know.
No, I agree. My assumption would be they pull it off the plant that has emergency generation.
But it's just disturbing that you don't know that. But anyway, the police department, the police department is consistently over budget. Okay, so now in July, they have a line item for $7,000.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
They have spent.
Point of order called by Mr. Price.
Order.
Police department is not on the agenda for
It doesn't matter. The manager's report is on the agenda.
If you have something that's really quick, otherwise let's keep moving
It don't
on.
have to be really quick.
We have an agenda that we all voted on as a body, and
Right,
it's listed
but
right here in
the
front of us. Mr. Kane, it's listed right here in front of us.
Listen,
All
man.
these things here, this packet is sent out on Thursday. There's plenty of time to add things to this packet.
You can add things to the agenda? After
No,
Thursday?
no, you
Okay,
have 24
that's not the
hours.
point.
24 hours, yes, of course. But Mr. Kane, you have a quick question.
I don't need to have a quick question. We're in the manager's report, and I'm asking the manager something about the town. What's out of order
What?
about that?
Well,
Council,
the point
council, is that- am I in
the
order?
point of order.
Wait, Mayor.
Sir?
Council, am I in order? We're in the mayor's. If it's not, in the manager's report, we can't talk about, the budget.
It's not on the agenda, that we cannot talk about.
Okay, All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
That's,
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
Town manager, can you let us know, is there any money left from the seed fund, or did we spend all that we had?
It was, the 30,000 was spent.
Okay, thank you.
That's possibly coming back. I mean, we're getting that almost every year from the county.
We apply every year,
C fund.
and we've been fortunate the past 4 years in a row to be awarded C funds.
Okay. Thank you.
fire department.
All right, moving on.
How you going, man?
Let's, where Mr. John Ando is here. Mr. John? At this time, if it pleases the council, we'll have Mr. Ando give his presentation before we go to executive session.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm John Ando. I'm the Executive Director of the Comet, and I thank you for allowing me to come before you to talk about our proposed transit services to Batesburg-Leesville. Just so if you don't know who we are the Central Midlands Regional Transit Authority. We are a governmental agency created as a regional transportation authority, and we operate services in Richland and Lexington counties. We did a new intergovernmental agreement in 2013 that includes Richland County, Lexington County, City of Forest Acres, and the City of Columbia. We presently operate 38 fixed routes within Richland and Lexington counties. We have 2 reflex services, a new van pool program, subsidy programs with Uber and Lyft, and we also have a bike share system. We also transport those with disabilities on a system called DART. So the Route 97 is what we're proposing to implement here in Batesburg-Leesville. We did a survey with 39 respondents from town residents on how this service should operate. We're planning on starting it on October 7th. We're going to call it the Route 97, and it will connect West Columbia, Lexington, Batesburg-Leesville with timed connections to Route 91 for travel into downtown Columbia, Casey, or Springdale, or the 96L for local travel in West Columbia and Casey. We will also make additional stops at the Lexington Medical Center, West Columbia Park and Ride Lot, Red Banks Crossing, Lexington County Courthouse and Administration Center, and also do local circulation in Batesburg-Leesville. The route will have the ability to flex up to 1 mile radius along the route, and passengers can call 2 hours in advance to request that flex. So in essence, if somebody doesn't want to walk to where we're going to have the bus route, they can have the bus come to their door. And then it'll also drop them off at locations in those cities that I mentioned, also at their door for an additional fee. That additional fee is $2 on top of the $2 one-way fare. This is the proposed route, so you have an idea of how it will operate between Batesburg-Leesville and West Columbia. Basically, we'll do like a little loop serving both the Batesburg side and the Leesville side. We'll serve Walmart. Then we'll basically take the highway out to Lexington, serve the major facilities in Lexington. Then we'll take another highway out to West Columbia, where we'll end at Kmart. And that's where passengers can connect to those 2 routes that I mentioned for further travel. And it'll be a timed connection, so by the time the bus arrives, there will already be buses there waiting to take people to their next destination. Initially, we'll operate 1 day a week. Based on the survey conducted by town residents, Wednesdays was the day that had the most respondents. There would be 2 westbound trips and 3 eastbound trips. There would be no service on weekends or holidays at this time, and 52 days of service would operate. This is the proposed schedule of what we are looking at. So you'll see that there'll be a 7:30 departure out of Batesburg, go down to Walmart, then to the Leesville side, and then Batesburg again, and then out to Red Bank Crossing, then to the Lexington County Administration Center, the Park and Ride Lot, the Lexington Medical Center, and then the Kmart Super Stop. There'll be another trip at 12:30, and then a last trip at 6:30. Then coming eastbound towards town, there would be a trip leaving Kmart at 11 a.m. and then a trip leaving at 5 p.m. So this schedule is built for the purposes of people making lifeline type of travel. This would allow somebody to go to make a medical appointment, go to like the county courthouse, go to take care of county business at the county offices, they wanted to go to the county library, they wanted to go do shopping in Columbia. It also allows for people from the Columbia and West Columbia, KC, Lexington side to come to town here if they wanted to go either shopping, they wanted to go to Sheely's Barbecue, or just take advantage of what this town has to offer. So it's built to work both directions. We'll operate a 25-foot cutaway bus. We'll provide bus stop signs, printed timetables, customer service, and people will be able to track the status of the bus using our Braslow Rider app. People can also buy passes through our Catch the Comet app. We have Wi-Fi on our buses, charging ports for cell phones, padded seats, clean interiors. Our buses can hold 2 bicycles and 4 wheelchairs, and we have radio communication with dispatch. The buses will be driven by a subcontractor of Transdev, which is called Transport Care Services. They actually operate the DART system, and we're going to be using a DART vehicle initially on this route. And if the demand grows, we would graduate it to a larger Comet bus. So the DART bus is down below is what you would see coming into town. And if the ridership grows, then we'll use the next size up, which would be the Comet Cutaway. That's what a Comet bus stop sign would look like that we would put throughout town. And we'll work with the town staff on appropriate location on where we put the signs. And then this is what a typical shelter looks like that we have throughout our service area. How we're going to fund this operations, this is a 1-year pilot, and Lexington County contributes approximately $227,000 to the Comet. We match that with $227,000 of federal funds, and that collectively comprises of the funding for transit that we provide in Lexington County. Within that contribution includes funds from the county itself, KC, West Columbia, and Springdale, as well as the Lexington Medical Center. So the deficit of the route is $22,000. The county, utilizing its unincorporated funding, is going to be contributing $11,254. We're hoping to have a fare box recovery of 5%, and then we'll match that with federal funds that we received from SCDOT for rural transportation by another $11,254. Just so you're aware, the fares for this service will be $2 one way, $4 for a day pass, $14 for a 7-day pass, $40 for a 31-day pass. We will also have a discounted fare structure for seniors, persons with disabilities, youth, veterans, and Medicare card holders, and that will be $1 one way, or $2 for a day pass, $7 for 7 all-day pass, and $20 for a 31-day pass. The future of the service. Under the RTA law, we can add the Comet can add additional members to join the RTA, and based on, in order to participate in the RTA's affairs, it requires a contribution of funding from that participating jurisdiction. The agencies that I mentioned all contribute into the Comet, so they all have seats on our board of directors. We envision that we would do this pilot for 1 year. Success on this pilot is based on carrying 5 passenger trips per hour with a subsidy of $12 or less, a fare box recovery ratio of actually of 5%, and then we would use a small size of 22 feet. The bus size would be at the minimum 22 feet. Should the route not meet those performance objectives that I mentioned above, it would either be subject to discontinuance or restructuring to help it meet those performance measures. We'll also do a survey at the 3rd and 9th month of the passengers riding to assess satisfaction of the service. We would welcome participation from the town of Batesburg-Leesville to participate on the Comet, and in order to grow beyond 1 day a week of service, we would have to ask the town to contribute local match funding to match the federal funds that are received to the Comet from SCDOT to subsidize those services. One thing that your town manager asked me to look into is what would it cost if we did a 5-day-a-week commuter type service. So this table gives you an idea on how much it would cost to run a 5-day-a-week service. The net deficit, the cost will be about $112,000 for a 5-day-a-week, and for 3-day-a-week, it would be $71,000. The local match that would be required would be $48,000 for 5-day-a-week service, and about $30,000 for 3-day-a-week service. Then we further split it out. 45% of a commuter route would operate in Lexington County, so we would ask the county to contribute $21,000 of the 5-day-a-week service. 15% of the route would operate in the town of Lexington, so we would ask the town of Lexington to contribute $7,200. And then about 40% would operate in Batesburg-Leesville, so we would ask the town to contribute about $19,000. For a 3-day-a-week service, the numbers change to $30,000 for Lexington County, $4,500 for the town of Lexington, and $12,000 for the town of Batesburg-Leesville. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about the proposed pilot or any future services, and just about the common in general, if there are any.
I have just one. Being that it's a pilot program, would you guys have any plans, at least initially, to provide the bus stop setups as shown, or would that come after some of that testing?
So like a shelter somewhere in town?
Yes.
We can consider adding a shelter in town. I don't have a problem. We actually just procured some shelters that we're getting ready to install throughout our service area, so no, there's no problem. We just need to identify what would be an appropriate site for placement of that shelter, and perhaps we could work with your town public works to do that.
So in Columbia, would there be a set place, like say for instance, people have doctor appointments at different locations? Would they have to get another way to go to their appointment from a certain place in Columbia, or would the?
Yes, so the 97 is going to end at the West Columbia Kmart Superstop. And at that West Columbia Kmart Superstop, there will be either the 91, if people wanted to go down to Springdale, or if they want to go to downtown Columbia, or the 96L, if they wanted to go to destinations in West Columbia or Casey. If they have to go to further destinations in Columbia beyond the 91, at Laurel and Sumter in downtown Columbia, they'll have to make another transfer. And then they can take that bus, like to the VA hospital, or to Prisma Health Richland or Prisma Health Baptist. But the way we built our system, we built it to where it's a hub and spoke system. So as buses are coming into what we call transit centers or super stops, there are buses already waiting. So people don't have to normally sit and wait. They can just get on another bus, connect, and then get to the next super stop, get on another bus and connect. And the way we also built the schedule too, just to answer your last piece of the question, is that somebody would be able to hypothetically go from Batesburg-Leesville to like a medical appointment at the VA and still make it back home that same day.
Question, Mr. Mayor? No, I forgot my question. Go ahead.
Mr. Stipkins, and then we'll come back to you, Ms. Whittle.
John, what's the possibility, are there any currently buses that the library offer the daily paper or short story books on there, since these are rural routes that might be utilized to for the riders to make that time useful?
Yes, we will, all the same programs that we put on regular common buses and dark buses would apply on this route. So like our Books on Buses program, there'll be books on the buses, of course the Wi-Fi, the cell phone charging ports.
What about newspapers?
Newspapers, yes, we do put newspapers on our buses. Right now we have the Panorama and the Columbia Star that are on our buses, so those will also be available. If you have a local town paper you would like us to work with to put on this route, we can definitely talk with them about that.
Oh, absolutely. Twin City News.
Twin Cities.
We can't live without that.
I'll reach out to their publisher.
Susan, you get your.
I did. Would the initial $2 include the transfers, or is it $2 each time you transfer for the cost?
So it's $2 plus a free transfer, but the transfer is only good for 60 minutes. So we encourage if people have to ride more than 2 buses, that they should buy the day pass for $4. And you get unlimited rides.
Thank you.
And we're actually getting ready to change that to a 24-hour pass instead of a day pass, which means that in essence, if you bought the pass at 7 o'clock right now, it would expire at 6:59 the following day.
And one other question I have is, with your other pilot programs, when we start October, whatever the date is, what would you expect the ridership to be in the first month, and then how would you expect it to grow, say, in 3 months? I'm sure it's kind of a slow process as we get the word out.
It is. I'd say if we can get at least 3 people riding at least 2 of the trips, then that's a good start for a rural route.
Okay.
And then if we can grow to where we're filling up the bus, that definitely demonstrates that there is a transit demand, and we need to start looking at what can we do for services more than just 1 day a week.
So I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. King?
Okay. So now, the majority of people that don't have vehicles and need to get to work, they work at Amick Farms in places down, what's the number? Craft, places like that. When I think of public transportation, I think of people who want to get to work, who don't have vehicles, not people who, I can't think of anything in Lexington and Red Bank that my constituents would want to go there for. Is it a possibility that we can have a route that goes, have you studied whether people need to ride the bus to go to work, if they work at Amick or they work at Gentry's or points that way? I don't see a whole bunch of people wanting to ride on that route that you've outlined.
So in the survey we did, we focused it 2-tiered. We focused it on if we just provided a lifeline service, just to get people to quality of life type of services, like medical appointments, social services, county type services. So that's kind of the purpose of this route. It's not meant to be an employment commuter route. However, there is interest from that survey that if we had a commuter service to employers like I just mentioned Kraft or even Michelin, that there is potential that it could be used. But however, we just don't have the funding capacity to do something more than just a 1 day a week within the Lexington County's allocation. So that's where additional contributions, like from the town, would be needed if we were to go that route.
Well, I understand a lot of people, I was just talking to Councilwoman Guthrie, said a lot of people have that service through the Medicaid and Medicare, so we'll see.
But I do also want to say that we do have a van pool program, and we pay the first $500 for use of a van pool, and it's as long as the van originates or ends anywhere in Lexington County, a group of employees could use that van. So like for instance, if you had 15 people ride a van to Kraft Heinz, that cost is about $1,100. We cover the first 500, the group covers 600. They divide the 600 by 15 people, and really that's their monthly cost for providing transit service.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I think that's smart.
And I can ask our contractor Enterprise to maybe come out to the town and see if they can maybe start recruiting some people to use that van pool program.
That would be excellent.
And then that could be the catalyst to determine if we should graduate those van pools into transit.
Well, I mean, you've got thousands of employees. You got 3 shifts down there, so it's just a ton of people. Right.
Anything else? Mr. Ando, thank you so much for coming. I know you were hot on the road from Atlanta. So.
Yes. I really appreciate you guys having us, and we look forward to being a part of your town and hopefully working with you to make this service successful.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Moving on to executive session, we have 3 items for this evening. It's discussion of contractual matters relating to building inspection services by SafeBuild, discussion of contractual matters relating to advanced disposal contract, and discussion of contractual matters relating to SRO contract with Lexington School District 3 for 2019-2020 school year. Do I have a motion to enter executive session?
So moved.
Mr. Simpkins, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Prowse. Any discussion? District 1? To enter executive session. District 1?
District 1, vote yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
No.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We are now in executive session. From executive session,
So moved.
Mr. Simpkins, do I have a second?
Second?
Second, Ms. Whittle. Any discussion? District 1, we're returning from executive session. District 1?
Vote yes.
2?
2 yes.
3?
No.
4?
4 votes yes.
5? 6?
Yes.
7?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. We're now back into regular session. Where are my notes here? Possible action relating to the building inspection services by Safe Bill.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the contract as presented to us during the executive session.
Motion by Mr. Prout, second by
For
Mr. Simpkins. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to put, for the record, I want the record to reflect that upon information to council, that we were told that the county is not equipped to service our town with a building inspector.
That's not quite what I heard, Mr. Mayor.
That's just what, I just wanted the record to reflect what I heard.
Okay.
Which was that the county could not do what this contract is purporting to do.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Ms. Whittle?
I'm good.
Okay. Any other discussion?
yes, my understanding is that based upon the research done by administration, their recommendation to council is that we contract with Safe Bill for our building inspection services.
And that information was not provided in writing.
Any other discussion?
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District
No.
3?
No.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
Yeah.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes, contract has been accepted, approved. Moving on to the possible action relating to advanced disposals contract. And do I have a motion to
So
adopt?
moved.
Mr. Gambrell is the first. And I have
Second.
a second by Mr. Simpkins. I think you put that in. Thank you. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, it's my understanding that the contract is being amended because of failure of our attorney and staff to present us with a proper contract from day one.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I kinda have a problem with that because, I'm not sure about the contract. So,
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to go on record. It's my understanding that the amendment to this contract is related to a change as a requirement by Lexington County after the initial contract was finalized.
Lexington County does not dictate to the town of Batesburg-Leesville what we put in our contracts. And due diligence requires that our attorney and our staff bring to council a completed contract with all those contingencies and differences spelled out to council. And that did not happen.
Call for the vote.
District 1?
District 1 votes yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
No.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
I'm gonna vote no on this.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes, contract has been accepted. Moving on to the last item, possible action related to SRO contract with Lexington School District 3 for the 2019-2020 school year.
Mayor, move that we approve the proposed contract for the Lexington School District 3 SRO officer.
Motion by Mr. Simpkins to approve the contract presented in executive session for the SRO officer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Etheridge. Any discussion?
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
District 3 votes no.
District 4?
District 4 votes yes.
District 5?
Yeah.
District 6?
Yes.
District 7?
Yes.
And I vote yes, contract has been adopted, accepted, and passed. Potential items for next month's meeting, do I have any?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to put on the agenda the proposed, what's your name? Ms. Taylor and I had talked about doing a downtown festival for downtown Batesburg District, and I'd like to put that on the agenda Some folks have been meeting about that, some business leaders downtown.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Kane to put agenda item, this is a presentation by Ms. Taylor, or a
Discussion.
discussion by Ms. Taylor?
Not Ms. Taylor, but just the downtown business.
Discussion about downtown Batesburg Business District event.
It's like a festival.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second. By Mr. Gambrell, any discussion?
Yeah, can we discuss this at the work session?
That'd be fine.
Do I withdraw, okay, if you want to do it at a work session, do I
I
withdraw?
amend my motion so that we can discuss.
Actually, we just withdraw the second and then withdraw the motion?
Withdrawn.
Withdraw.
Okay, thank you. Any other items for next month's meeting?
We don't have to put that on the, we don't have to vote to put that on the agenda?
I think-
Work session?
Not in a work session, no.
Okay, thank you.
Any other items? All right, look for a motion to adjourn. Mr. Gambrell, a second by
Second.
by Ms. Whittle. Any discussion on adjournment? All right, District 1,
District 1 votes yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
4 votes yes.
5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
7,
Yes.
and I vote yes. We are adjourned.